Welcome, dear friend, to Mystic Bedtime Stories. Here we invite you to embark on journeys that stretch beyond the everyday into realms of ancient wonder and unsolved mysteries, all designed to gently guide you towards a night of profound rest. Take a deep, calming breath, allowing your shoulders to soften and your mind to quiet. Let go of the day's concerns and prepare to drift. Tonight, our whispered journey takes us far across the continents, to a place where the earth itself seems to hold secrets etched into its very surface. We travel to the sun-baked, silent deserts of Peru, a land steeped in history and veiled in enigma. Imagine yourself hovering high above this ancient landscape as the gentle night air carries you softly over vast, undulating plains. Below, under the pale glow of the moon, something truly extraordinary begins to emerge. These are the Nazca Lines, colossal drawings, so immense they can only be truly appreciated from the expansive canvas of the sky. As you gaze down, you'll see magnificent hummingbirds with wings outstretched, powerful monkeys with coiled tails, and mysterious figures that seem to wave from another time. Alongside these intricate animal and human forms, thousands of perfectly straight lines, rectangles, and spirals crisscross the desert floor, forming a breathtaking, silent symphony. But what are these incredible markings? Who were the ancient hands that painstakingly crafted them? And for what purpose were these grand designs created? Designs that, from the ground, remain largely invisible? These are the questions that have puzzled archaeologists, historians, and dreamers for generations. Tonight, we won't seek definitive answers, for some mysteries are meant to linger, to invite contemplation rather than immediate resolution. Instead, we'll simply explore. We'll journey through the theories and whispers of the past, allowing our imaginations to gently unfold alongside the enigma of the Nazca Lines. Let the silent stories of the ancient sky wash over you as we begin our slow, meditative descent into the heart of this enduring puzzle. Relax, unwind, and prepare to be carried away on the winds of history into a slumber as deep and mysterious as the Nazca Lines themselves. Take a deep breath with me now, and let your eyes close gently. Feel your body settling into this comfortable position, releasing the tensions of the day. Tonight, we're going to journey together to one of the most mysterious places on Earth, a place where ancient secrets lie written in the very ground beneath. An endless sky. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast expanse of desert in southern Peru. The sun is beginning its descent toward the horizon, painting the sky in soft shades of amber and rose. Before you stretches the Nazca Desert, a landscape so unique, so perfectly preserved, that it seems to exist outside of time itself. The silence here is profound. It's not the absence of sound, but rather the presence of something deeper. As you breathe in the dry, clean air, you notice how different this place feels from anywhere else you've ever been. The desert floor beneath your feet isn't made of shifting sand dunes like the Sahara, but rather a flat, rocky surface covered with a thin layer of reddish-brown pebbles and stones. This is the Pampa Colada, the colored plain, and it extends for miles in every direction. The ground has a distinctive russet color, created by centuries of oxidation under the relentless Peruvian sun. When you pick up one of these small stones, you notice how it feels warm in your palm, as if it's been storing the sun's energy for thousands of years. What makes this desert so extraordinary is its remarkable stillness. The region's dry climate and winds that sweep sand out of their grooves have created conditions unlike anywhere else on Earth. The air here is so dry that it can preserve almost anything for centuries. There's virtually no rainfall, less than half an inch per year, making this one of the driest places on the planet. As you walk slowly across this ancient surface, your footsteps create small clouds of dust that settle quickly in the still air. The temperature is beginning to cool with the approaching evening, but you can still feel the warmth rising from the ground. During the day, the sun beats down mercilessly, but at night, the desert becomes surprisingly cool, creating a perfect balance that has helped preserve the secrets hidden here. Look around you at the emptiness. There are no trees, no grass, no signs of modern civilization. Just the endless expanse of this high desert plateau, sitting about 1,500 feet above sea level. The horizon seems to stretch forever in all directions, broken only by distant mountains that rise like ancient sentinels against the sky. But this apparent emptiness is deceptive. The Nazca Lines are massive geoglyphs made by the ancient Nazca civilization in southern Peru's desert. They created these designs by removing reddish-brown pebbles, showing the lighter soil underneath. Beneath this layer of oxidized stones lies a lighter-colored soil, pale yellow and cream, waiting to be revealed. As you stand here in this timeless landscape, you begin to understand why this place has captivated explorers and scientists for decades. The desert's unique geology, formed over millions of years, has created the perfect canvas for something extraordinary. The lack of vegetation, the minimal rainfall, the gentle but persistent winds that clean the surfaces without destroying them. All of these factors have combined to create a natural preservation system that has lasted for over 2,000 years. The ground beneath your feet is hard-packed and stable, formed from Pleistocene alluvial deposits that have been baked by the sun and compressed by time. When you kneel down and brush away some of the surface pebbles, you can see the contrast between the dark upper layer and the lighter soil below. It's this simple difference in color that would allow ancient artists to create images so large. They could only be fully appreciated from high above God. As twilight deepens, the desert takes on an almost mystical quality. The silence becomes even more profound, broken only by the occasional whisper of wind across the ancient surface. The stars are beginning to appear overhead, brilliant and numerous in the clear, dry air. There's no light pollution here, no modern distractions, just you and the infinite sky that has watched over this place for millennia. This is the same sky that the Nazca people looked up at centuries ago. They lived here in this harsh but beautiful environment, finding ways to thrive in one of the world's most challenging landscapes. They understood this desert in ways we can only imagine, reading the subtle signs of weather and season, finding water in the most unlikely places, and ultimately creating something here that would outlast their entire civilization. The desert's preservation of their work is nothing short of miraculous. Preserved naturally by the hot sun and a dry climate, the Nazca Lines have been embedded with mystery ever since the Nazca culture collapsed around 600 AD. The combination of extreme aridity, minimal wind erosion, and the stable geology of the region has created a natural museum where ancient artworks remain almost exactly as they were created. As you breathe deeply in this pristine environment, you can feel the weight of history surrounding you. This desert has witnessed the rise and fall of entire civilizations, yet it remains unchanged, patient, eternal. The same sun that shines down on you now once illuminated the daily lives of the Nazca people. The same stars that you see emerging overhead once guided their astronomical observations and spiritual practices. Feel yourself becoming part of this ancient landscape. Your presence here connects you to a chain of human experience that stretches back over 2 millennia. The desert accepts you, as it has accepted all who have stood here before you, with the same patient, eternal silence. As the last light fades from the sky and the desert settles into its nightly rest, you can sense that this place holds secrets. Let the profound silence of the Nazca Desert calm your mind and allow yourself to drift into the same peaceful state that has embraced this land for countless centuries. You are safe here, in this place where time moves differently, where the ancient and the eternal converge under the star-filled sky of Peru. As the desert lies silent beneath the vast Peruvian sky, preserving its ancient secrets with an almost sacred vigilance. Our journey now takes a turn towards discovery, the profound moment these enigmatic designs first came into our modern view. For centuries, perhaps even millennia, these colossal works of art remained largely unnoticed by the wider world. They were whispered about by local communities, who undoubtedly saw fragments and unusual patterns on the ground, but the true grandeur, the overall narrative etched into the earth, remained a secret held by the wind and the sun, waiting patiently for the right perspective. Imagine, if you will, the early dawn of the 20th century. Humanity was awakening to a thrilling new frontier, the possibilities of flight. With the advent of rudimentary aircraft, biplanes, and later, more sophisticated airplanes, came an unprecedented ability to see the Earth from a vantage point once reserved only for birds, or perhaps for the gods. It was from the open cockpits of those pioneering airplanes, soaring just above the desert floor, that the true scale and artistry of the Nazca Lines began, little by little, to reveal itself. Pilots and passengers flying over this arid region would peer down, at first perhaps noticing only unusual lines or faint patterns, then gradually, astonishingly, realizing the immense, deliberate, and undeniably artificial nature of the formations beneath them. These were not random geological features, carved by the caprice of nature. They were creations, vast and intricate, designed with undeniable purpose by human hands. The initial discoveries sparked a wave of intense fascination and inquiry across the globe. For those who lived on the ground, who had walked over these very areas for generations, the lines were often perceived as nothing more than scattered rocks and shallow depressions, perhaps old paths or forgotten trails. They couldn't perceive the complete forms. From their terrestrial perspective, what we now know as a giant hummingbird's wing might appear as a simple, elongated mound of disturbed earth, a monkey's tail as a winding, insignificant path leading nowhere apparent. It took the elevation, the shift in perspective offered by early aviation, to truly transform these seemingly disconnected marks into coherent, monumental works of art. This very paradox, designs so vast they are meant to be seen from afar, yet created by those who could only view them from the ground, became one of the central, most enduring mysteries of the Nazca Lines, fueling debates and theories that continue to this day. How did they achieve such perfect symmetry and scale without the ability to see their progress from above? What exactly did these early aerial explorers see, sending shivers of awe and wonder down their spines? They saw a breathtaking array of images, falling broadly into two main, captivating categories: geometric figures and biomorphs. The geometric figures are perhaps the most numerous and widespread, forming the backbone of the Nazca tapestry. Picture immense straight lines, some stretching for astonishing distances, many miles, crossing plains and even gently undulating hills, maintaining a remarkable, almost impossible, straightness. These lines often extend so far that they appear to vanish into the distant haze, as if pointing to unseen destinations or celestial events. There are also colossal trapezoids and triangles, sometimes appearing alone as monumental shapes, sometimes connected to other lines or figures, forming complex networks. Imagine vast, meticulously crafted spirals, coiling inward or outward with perfect mathematical precision, or large rectangles and zigzags that cover acres of land. These geometric shapes suggest a profound precision and a purpose that goes beyond mere decoration. Were they pathways for ancient rituals? Astronomical alignments marking solstices or equinoxes? Or something else entirely? A form of mapping? A land division system? Or even abstract symbols of a forgotten language? The sheer dedication required to maintain such straightness over vast distances, without modern surveying tools, using only stakes, cords, and perhaps a keen understanding of astronomy, is truly astounding. It speaks of a people with a profound, understanding of geometry, a meticulous approach to their work, and an unwavering patience that stretches across generations. Then there are the biomorphs, the figures depicting living beings, which are often the most captivating and emotionally resonant. As you gently drift above this incredible landscape, allow your gaze to wander and your imagination to soar. You might begin to distinguish the graceful, elegant form of a hummingbird, its long beak stretching purposefully towards a stylized flower, its slender wings outstretched in eternal, silent flight. Or perhaps your eyes will be drawn to the incredibly intricate spider, rendered with almost scientific accuracy, each leg and segment perfectly proportioned, almost lifelike despite its colossal size. There's the majestic condor, a powerful and revered bird in Andean cultures, with its massive wingspan soaring across the desert, a symbol of power and connection to the heavens. You might even spot the curious, somewhat whimsical monkey, with its spiraling tail and human-like hands, or a graceful lizard stretching out, basking in an eternal desert sun. A watchful pelican with its large beak, or a loyal dog, each rendered with a distinct character. Some figures are undeniably human-like, with one particularly famous figure often called the astronaut, a stylized being with large, staring eyes, and what appears to be a halo or helmet, adding yet another layer of intrigue and fueling popular culture theories. Each of these figures, whether a creature of the earth, the sky, or perhaps beyond, is rendered with remarkable accuracy and artistic flair. They are not crude etchings. They are masterworks of ancient art, drawn with a confidence and a scale that still defy easy explanation and humble modern observers. They range in size from a few dozen feet to hundreds of feet long, the largest spanning over 1,000 feet in some cases, requiring immense planning, coordination, and communal effort to execute. Imagine the process. First, perhaps a smaller sketch or model, then a larger, more detailed blueprint transferred to the vast canvas of the desert using grids and measuring tools. And finally, the painstaking, back-breaking work of carefully clearing the dark, oxidized stones to reveal the lighter, yellowish earth below. This wasn't a quick endeavor. It was likely a multi-generational project, a continuous act of creation and maintenance, a testament to the enduring vision of the Nazca people. Each line, each curve, each cleared area represents countless hours of human labor, driven by a purpose we can only begin to guess at. These initial aerial discoveries not only brought the lines to global attention, but also posed a fundamental, perplexing question. Why were they created? For whom were these monumental works intended? Their clear invisibility from the ground, their true nature only revealing itself from a bird's-eye view, strongly suggests they were not for casual human viewing or for local navigation. This paradox has fueled countless theories, from the terrestrial and pragmatic to the cosmic and spiritual, each attempting to unravel the silent message etched into the desert floor. The very act of their creation, so enormous yet so hidden from their maker's immediate sight, forces us to re-evaluate our understanding of ancient civilizations and their motivations. As we continue to float above this incredible open-air gallery, allow these forms to imprint themselves gently on your mind. The unwavering precision of the straight lines, the fluid beauty and expressive nature of the animal figures, all lying silently under the vastness of the sky, seem to beckon us closer. It's a testament to an ancient intelligence, a profound mystery that continues to invite our deepest wonder and contemplation, drawing us deeper into the heart of Peru's desert secrets. The first lines appeared to the modern world, and with them, an enduring puzzle that has fascinated humanity ever since, inviting us to dream of their purpose and meaning. As we gently drift further into this ancient landscape, our thoughts might naturally turn from the remarkable lines themselves to the hands that created them. Who were these people, the Nazca, who meticulously etched such grand designs into the earth designs seemingly intended for eyes far above their world? To truly appreciate their artistry, we must first try to understand their lives, their beliefs, and the very fabric of their society. Imagine, if you will, a community thriving in this seemingly barren desert. The Nazca civilization flourished. In the valleys of the Rio Grande de Nazca and the Ica Valley on the southern coast of Peru, from roughly 100 BC to 800 AD, this was a sophisticated culture, far from primitive, that mastered the challenging environment in which they lived. Their ingenuity in adapting to and even shaping their surroundings is truly inspiring. They weren't simply surviving. They were building a vibrant, complex society in a place many would consider inhospitable. At the heart of Nazca life was agriculture. Despite the arid conditions, they developed incredibly advanced irrigation systems. Picture deep, winding tunnels, known as puquillos, carved into the earth to tap into underground water sources. These subterranean aqueducts, many of which are still used today by local farmers, allowed them to cultivate essential crops like cotton, beans, squash, and corn. Imagine the sheer effort and communal spirit required to construct and maintain such a network. Each puquillo was a marvel of ancient engineering, a spiraling shaft descending into the earth, often lined with precisely placed stones designed to bring precious water from underground aquifers to the surface. It was a testament to their deep understanding of hydrology and geology, a knowledge passed down through generations. This wasn't just about survival. It was a proactive, intelligent approach to their environment that allowed their society to flourish for centuries. It speaks of a people deeply connected to the rhythm of the seasons, the precious gift of water, and the very earth beneath their feet. This mastery over water, a life-giving force, was undoubtedly central to their worldview. Their lives were also rich with rituals and ceremonies, reflecting a profound spiritual connection to their world. We can see hints of this in their exquisite pottery, which is renowned for its vibrant colors and intricate designs. Unlike the more angular styles of some neighboring cultures, Nazca ceramics are characterized by their smooth, rounded forms and polychrome surfaces, often using a remarkable range of up to 11 different colors derived from local mineral pigments. They frequently depicted figures of humans, often stylized and mystical, alongside powerful animals such as jaguars, hummingbirds, and fish, and various mythological beings. These images weren't just decorative. They were rich with symbolism, likely representing deities, spiritual journeys, or important cosmological concepts. Each pot, each jar, tells a story, a whisper from a bygone era, of a people who saw the sacred in the everyday and adorned their vessels with images of the forces they believed governed their world. These pieces weren't just for daily use. Many were clearly ceremonial, perhaps used in offerings to water deities or during important community gatherings that celebrated harvests or commemorated ancestors. The sheer volume and artistry of their pottery suggest that these vessels played a central role in their daily lives and spiritual practices. And then there's the evidence of their textiles, woven with remarkable skill and often adorned with symbolic patterns, using cotton grown in their irrigated fields in camelid fibers like alpaca wool, which they likely obtained through trade with highland communities. The Nazca created elaborate fabrics that were not merely practical items of clothing or blankets. They were works of art reflecting social status, religious beliefs, and possibly even narratives of their myths and legends. Imagine the hours spent, the dedication required, to spin and dye the fibers using natural pigments extracted from plants and minerals, then to meticulously weave them into elaborate tapestries, tunics, and headwear. The precision of their weaving techniques, often incorporating complex patterns and vibrant hues, suggests society with a keen eye for beauty, an appreciation for detail, and a deep respect for craftsmanship. These textiles would have been used in daily life, but also played significant roles in their elaborate burial practices, where the deceased were often wrapped in multiple layers of these rich, meaningful fabrics, perhaps to accompany them on their journey to the afterlife. The Nazca were also skilled engineers and architects, not just in their irrigation systems, but also in their construction techniques for ceremonial sites and dwellings. While they didn't build grand stone cities like the later Incas, their settlements, though simpler in construction, were often well planned, featuring adobe brick structures and communal spaces. Their ability to move vast quantities of earth and stone for their agricultural and ritualistic purposes, including the very creation of the geoglyphs, was impressive. They understood the properties of the land and how to work with them, rather than against them, a practical wisdom born from generations of living in this unique environment. Their mastery of earthworks extended far beyond the lines, influencing how they built their homes and organized their communities. As you rest here, allow your mind to wander back to those ancient times. Envision the daily life of a Nazca villager, waking with the sun, perhaps to the sounds of activity around the communal puquillos as water was drawn and distributed, and heading to tend to the fields watered by these ingenious systems. Imagine the quiet hum of activity as beautiful pottery was shaped from local clays and fired, or intricate textiles were painstakingly woven by hand. Picture the shared meals, the stories passed down from elders to children about their ancestors and the spirits of the land, and participating in the many ceremonies that honored their deities. Perhaps the powerful condor soaring overhead, the agile hummingbird, or the life-giving fish from the rivers, and the crucial forces of nature, especially water, that sustained them. Their world was one of balance, of careful stewardship of the resources, and a deep reverence for the cosmos that they observed so closely, mapping its movements across the vast desert sky. It was within this rich cultural tapestry, woven from practicality and profound spiritual belief, that the Nazca Lines were born, not in isolation, but as an integral part of their worldview and their enduring legacy, their existence, their flourishing. In such a stark environment, reminds us of the incredible resilience and ingenuity of humanity. They weren't just the mysterious creators of enigmatic lines. They were a vibrant, living society with dreams, fears, and a profound, intimate connection to the land and the vast sky above them. Their legacy is not just in the lines they left behind, but in the echoes of their lives, their beliefs, and their masterful adaptation to a challenging world. They were truly people of the desert, who found ways to make it bloom, both physically and spiritually, leaving us with a silent yet powerful testament to their ingenuity and their enduring mysteries. As we continue our gentle, soaring journey above the vast, silent canvas of the Nazca Desert, a profound question naturally arises, echoing through the centuries. Why? Why would a people invest such monumental effort, such meticulous planning, and such enduring dedication into creating images that, from their own ground-level perspective, were utterly invisible? This paradox is at the very heart of the Nazca Lines mystery, and leads us to perhaps the most compelling and enduring theory. Were these drawings intended for eyes far above, perhaps for deities or beings beyond our earthly realm? Imagine the Nazca people living their lives on the desert floor, tending to their crops, crafting their pottery, and observing the rhythms of their world. For them, these vast figures of hummingbirds, monkeys, and geometric patterns would have existed only as a series of carefully placed stones, shallow trenches, and cleared pathways. They could not step back and see the grand design unfold, not as we can from our modern aerial perspective. This fundamental disconnect between creation and observation sparks a powerful line of thought. If the audience wasn't terrestrial, then who was it? This question inevitably leads us to the realm of the sacred, the spiritual, and the cosmological. Ancient cultures across the globe often held a deep reverence for the sky, viewing it as the dwelling place of gods, spirits, and celestial entities that influence their lives, their harvests, and their very destinies. For the Nazca, whose existence was so intimately tied to the delicate balance of water and fertility in an arid land, the forces that brought rain or drought would have been seen as divine, powerful, and worthy of immense veneration. Consider the act of creating these lines as a massive form of prayer or offering. Perhaps the Nazca believed that by etching these monumental images into the very skin of the earth, they were sending messages directly to the heavens. The animals depicted, the hummingbird, the spider, the monkey, might have been sacred. Animals, totems, or representations of deities or constellations that held particular significance in their belief system. By creating them on such an epic scale, perhaps they sought to amplify their prayers, to make them visible and undeniable to the unseen forces above. Think of the hummingbird, a creature of incredible agility and beauty, often associated with fertility and the delicate balance of nature. Or the spider, an artist of intricate webs, perhaps symbolizing creation or the interconnectedness of life. The monkey, a figure of vitality and playfulness, but also sometimes associated with water sources in tropical regions. Each biomorph could have been a powerful symbol, a plea for rain, a thanks for a bountiful harvest, or a ritualistic connection to the natural world that sustained them. The geometric shapes, too, might have held profound symbolic meaning, perhaps representing cosmic order, pathways for spirits, or sacred spaces. This theory suggests that the Nazca Lines were gigantic ritualistic offerings etched into the earth. As a form of communication, the act of creating them, involving meticulous communal effort and perhaps long, arduous processes, would have been a ritual in itself, a pilgrimage of labor and faith. Imagine groups of Nazca people working together under the fierce sun, carefully removing stones, following lines laid out by their priest astronomers. Each cleared segment, each revealed patch of lighter earth was a step in a sacred dance, a physical manifestation of their devotion. This sustained effort, over hundreds of years, speaks of a powerful, deeply ingrained belief system. It's easy for us, in our modern world, to view such endeavors through a purely scientific lens. But for ancient peoples, the line between the physical and spiritual was often blurred. The landscape was alive with meaning, and every natural phenomenon was imbued with divine significance. The sky, with its shifting constellations, the sun, and the moon would have been not just distant objects, but powerful beings interacting directly with their lives. The lines could have been a literal interface, a conduit between their earthly existence and the celestial realm. Consider the possibility that certain lines or figures were created during specific astronomical events, perhaps at the solstice or equinox, or when certain constellations were visible. This would connect the act of drawing directly to their cosmic calendar and their understanding of the divine order. The very act of aligning a line with a rising star or a specific point on the horizon could have been seen as inviting that celestial power down to their land. This God's eye view theory also touches upon the profound human need for connection to the transcendent. Throughout history, humans have looked to the skies for answers, for guidance, for signs. The Nazca Lines, in this context, become a grand collective aspiration, a monumental act of reaching out. They are a testament to the Nazca people's spiritual depth and their desire to communicate with forces they believed held sway over their very existence. While we can never definitively know the precise beliefs that motivated the Nazca, the idea that these drawings were meant for unseen, higher powers resonates deeply. It transforms the vast, silent desert into a sacred altar, and the lines themselves into a continuous, unspoken prayer, a whisper from the earth to the heavens, preserved through time, waiting for us to wonder and to listen. The sheer scale and the peculiar vantage point required for these designs compel used to look beyond the mundane and contemplate the extraordinary reach of ancient human faith. As we continue our gentle, contemplative flight over the silent expanse of the Nazca Desert, our minds have wandered through the discovery of these magnificent lines and pondered whether they were messages to the divine. Now, let us turn our gaze not just to the patterns on the earth, but to the grand cosmic canvas above them, the night sky. For many researchers, the meticulous precision of the Nazca Lines, particularly the long, straight ones in certain animal figures, seems to whisper of a profound connection to astronomy. Could these colossal etchings have served as a gigantic ancient calendar, a sophisticated observatory, or a map of the heavens laid out on the desert floor? Imagine yourself standing with the ancient Nazca under a moonless desert night. Far from the light pollution of our modern world, the stars would have blazed with an intensity we can barely fathom. The Milky Way would have stretched across the sky like a luminous river, and the planets would have tracked their predictable courses with brilliant clarity. For a people whose lives were utterly dependent on the rhythms of nature, the changing seasons, the cycles of planting and harvesting, the crucial arrival of water in their arid land, understanding these celestial patterns would have been paramount. The sky was not just a beautiful backdrop. It was a living clock, a divine guide, and a source of immense power. One of the most prominent figures associated with this hypothesis is Maria Reich. Known affectionately as the Lady of the Lines, this German mathematician and archaeologist dedicated over 50 years of her life to studying the Nazca geoglyphs, living in a small house in the desert, often working tirelessly in the sun. She painstakingly measured and mapped the lines, convinced that they held an astronomical significance. Reich believed that many of the straight lines pointed to the rising and setting positions of the sun, moon, and specific stars on important dates, such as the solstices and equinoxes. These moments marked the turning points of the year, signaling crucial agricultural cycles. For example, imagine a line precisely aligned with the point on the horizon where the sun rises on the summer solstice, marking the longest day of the year, or another, pointing to the setting of a particular star that heralded the coming of the rainy season, a vital event for their survival. To a civilization so dependent on agriculture in such a challenging environment, predicting these celestial events with accuracy would have been critical. The lines in this view wouldn't just be markers. They would be a tangible, monumental representation of their astronomical knowledge, a way to record and perhaps even influence the cosmic rhythms. Reich also proposed that some of the animal figures might be representations of constellations. While Andean cultures, unlike Western astronomy, often saw constellations in the dark patches of the Milky Way, it's possible the Nazca linked some of their animal geoglyphs to celestial patterns, or mythological beings associated with the stars. The spider, for instance, has been theorized to correspond with the constellation Orion, and the monkey with the Big Dipper, or Pleiades, though these correlations remain subjects of debate and further research. The very act of creating these large figures visible only from above strengthens the idea that they were meant to be viewed in relation to the heavens, perhaps as a mirror of the cosmos on Earth. Consider the precision required. To create a line that accurately aligns with a celestial event over such vast distances would demand sophisticated observation skills and an impressive understanding of geometry and orientation. The Nazca people, without telescopes or advanced tools, would have relied on centuries of careful observation passed down through generations. They would have tracked the movements of stars and planets with keen eyes, noting their heliacal risings the first time a star becomes visible above the eastern horizon just before sunrise, or their setting points. This knowledge would have been accumulated, refined, and eventually, perhaps, immortalized in the ground. The astronomical hypothesis doesn't necessarily contradict the idea of ritualistic purpose. In many ancient societies, astronomy and ritual were deeply intertwined. Knowing the celestial calendar allowed priests or leaders to determine the auspicious times for ceremonies, for planting, for harvesting, and for making offerings. The lines could have served both as an astronomical instrument and a ceremonial pathway, guiding participants towards a sacred alignment with the cosmos. A procession along a line, aligned with a particular star, could have been a powerful symbolic act, connecting the human realm directly to the divine celestial realm, while Maria Reich's work laid the foundational stone for the astronomical hypothesis. It's important to note that it's not without its challenges and criticisms. Some researchers argue that while some lines do align with celestial events, many do not, and the sheer number of lines makes it possible to find random alignments. Others suggest that the alignments might be less about precise calendar keeping and more about general orientation or a symbolic connection to the sky. The beauty of the Nazca Lines mystery, however, lies precisely in these open questions and the ongoing scholarly debate. Nevertheless, the notion that the Nazca, through painstaking observation, sought to encode their understanding of the cosmos into the very land is profoundly captivating. It speaks to a universal human desire to understand our place in the universe, to find order in the seemingly chaotic movements of the stars, and to connect with something larger than ourselves. As you continue to relax and drift, imagine the ancient Nazca gazing up at the brilliant tapestry of the night sky, then looking down at the lines they had etched, seeing their knowledge, their beliefs, and their very world reflected between the heavens and the earth. Perhaps in their silent contemplation, they too felt the gentle pull of the stars, guiding their hands as they drew their monumental cosmic calendar. As we continue our slow, gentle drift over the enigmatic Nazca Lines, having explored the possibility of their celestial connections, let us now delve into another compelling theory that seeks to unravel their ancient purpose, the ritual theory. This perspective suggests that the Nazca Lines were not merely static images for distant deities or intricate astronomical charts, but rather dynamic stages, living landscapes upon which profound rituals and ceremonies were performed. Imagine, if you will, the desert floor as a sacred theater, and the lines themselves as pathways for spiritual journeys. This theory draws heavily on the understanding of ancient Andean cultures, where rituals, offerings, and pilgrimages were central to religious and daily life. For the Nazca people, living in an extremely arid environment, the most vital and powerful force would have been water. The very survival of their agricultural society, their ability to grow maize, beans, and cotton depended entirely on the unpredictable and scarce rainfall, or the precious water flowing from their ingenious pucuyos. Thus, it is highly plausible that many of their most important rituals would have revolved around invoking, honoring, and appeasing the deities associated with water, rain, and fertility. Consider the enormous scale of some of the geoglyphs, particularly the long straight lines and expansive trapezoids. If you were to walk along one of these lines on the ground, you would not see the entire figure. You would simply be following a path. This observation led some scholars, notably the American archaeologist Johann Reinhard, to propose that the lines served as processional walkways or ceremonial circuits. Imagine a group of Nazca priests, shamans, or community members, perhaps at a significant time of year, during a prolonged drought, or at the onset of a crucial planting season, embarking on a solemn procession along one of these lines. The act of walking for miles across the desert, following a meticulously laid-out path, would have been a deeply spiritual and physically demanding experience. This pilgrimage under the vast, watchful sky could have been a form of active prayer or meditation. Each step taken, each footfall on the sacred ground would have been an offering in itself, a way to build spiritual energy and connect with the divine. The geometric shapes, like the trapezoids, might have served as large gathering places or ritualistic arenas where communities congregated for ceremonies, perhaps involving music, chanting, and offerings. The biomorphic figures, the animals like the hummingbird, spider, monkey, or even the orca, killer whale, could have been representations of ancestral spirits, totemic animals, or deities invoked during these rituals. As participants walked along lines leading to or from these figures, they might have been metaphorically embodying the characteristics of these animals or seeking their blessings. For instance, walking towards the hummingbird might have been a plea for the swift return of water or a connection to fertility. The spider, a master weaver, might have been invoked for successful harvests or the intricate weaving of fate. The orca, a powerful creature from the ocean, could have symbolized water itself or the power to bring it from distant sources. Furthermore, the lines could have been associated with water sources themselves. Some researchers have suggested that certain lines point towards ancient wells, springs, or the course of underground aquifers. While not directly visible from above, these connections might have been known to the Nazca, and the lines served as symbolic pathways guiding sacred water from its source to the agricultural fields, or as a way to activate the water spirits. The act of drawing a vast network across the desert might have been a symbolic attempt to coax water from the dry earth, a giant prayer written into the landscape. This theory also considers the possibility of shamanic journeys. In many ancient cultures, shamans would enter altered states of consciousness to communicate with the spirit world, often visualizing themselves flying or soaring. The Nazca Lines, visible only from above, could have been a vision map for these. Shamans, a representation of their out-of-body experiences or their communication with higher realms. The complex designs might have been a visual aid, a mental landscape through which the shaman's spirit traveled, seeking guidance, healing, or intercession on behalf of their community. The continuous creation of new lines and figures over centuries also supports the ritual theory. It wasn't a one-time event, but an ongoing practice, suggesting that the act of creation itself was crucial, perhaps a renewal of vows, a response to changing environmental conditions, or a progression of their spiritual understanding. Each new line or figure could have been a fresh prayer, a new plea, or a new expression of their evolving relationship with the divine. This interpretation paints a vivid picture of the Nazca people, not just engineers and artists, but deeply spiritual beings engaged in a constant dialogue with their environment and the unseen forces they believed governed it. The desert, often perceived by us as barren, was for them a living, sacred space imbued with meaning and power. The lines, therefore, become a profound testament to their faith, their resilience, and their creative spirit in the face of profound environmental challenges. As you allow your consciousness to gently float, imagine the soft rhythm of ancient footsteps along these vast desert pathways. Feel the anticipation, the reverence, the hope that permeated those ancient ceremonies. See the figures of animals and symbols as not just drawings, but as spiritual anchors, drawing down the blessings of the heavens to the parched earth. The Nazca Lines, in this light, transform into a silent, enduring symphony of faith, a grand and beautiful expression of a people's unwavering belief in the power of ritual to connect them to the sacred. And as you drift deeper, perhaps you can almost hear the faint echoes of their ancient prayers carried on the desert wind. As our gentle journey over the Nazca Lines continues, we've explored fascinating and deeply rooted possibilities, from ancient rituals connecting humanity to the rhythms of nature, to sophisticated astronomical calendars guiding their agricultural and spiritual lives. We've considered the immense effort and ingenuity of the Nazca people. But now, let us shift our focus to a theory that, while often dismissed by mainstream archaeology, has captured the global imagination like wildfire, becoming a hallmark of ancient mysteries: the alien theory. This intriguing, often sensationalized, yet undeniably captivating idea suggests that the Nazca Lines were created not solely by the indigenous Nazca people, but perhaps with the direct intervention, the advanced guidance, or even specifically for the benefit of extraterrestrial visitors. This theory didn't just emerge spontaneously. It gained significant, widespread traction in the mid-20th century, profoundly reshaping how many people viewed ancient wonders. Its most prominent champion was Erich von Däniken, a Swiss author whose highly influential 1968 book, Chariots of the Gods, became an international bestseller. Von Däniken posited a radical concept. Ancient civilizations around the world, from the builders of the pyramids to the creators of the Nazca Lines, were not merely brilliant human endeavors, but were in fact visited by technologically advanced aliens who were then mistaken for gods or divine beings. For him, the Nazca Lines served a very literal, almost utilitarian purpose. They were, quite simply, landing strips for spacecraft, or perhaps colossal signals or navigational markers for alien ships approaching Earth from the vastness of space not imagined. The sheer, overwhelming scale of the Nazca geoglyphs, the enormous, impossibly straight lines, some stretching for dozens of miles across the plains, meticulously traversing hills and valleys without deviation. The immense trapezoids and rectangles covering acres of land, so geometric and precise. To a mind already open to extraterrestrial possibilities, these shapes could effortlessly be interpreted as runways, beacons, or guidance systems for flying vehicles, far too large and geometrically perfect for mere human ritual or measurement. The central argument put forth by von Däniken and his followers is that these lines are simply too precise, too vast, and too technologically complex to have been conceived or created by a civilization lacking the most basic tools of modern surveying, let alone flight. If, as we discussed in earlier chapters, the lines were largely invisible from the ground, a paradox that baffles us, then who or what could possibly have been the intended audience? An advanced alien civilization, observing Earth from their spacecraft high above, would possess the ideal, indeed, the only vantage point. Then there are the intriguing humanoid figures, which for proponents of the alien theory are perhaps the most compelling evidence. The most famous example is often referred to as the astronaut or the giant, a unique figure depicted with large, round, staring eyes, a somewhat bulbous or elongated head, and what some interpret as a helmet or even a breathing apparatus, a clear departure from typical Nazca iconography. To adherents of the alien theory, this figure is not a stylized representation of a Nazca deity or a shaman in ritualistic trance, but a literal depiction of an extraterrestrial being, perhaps one who directly interacted with the ancient people, imparting knowledge, inspiring, or even actively assisting in the creation of these monumental ground drawings. The very existence of such a figure, seemingly gazing upwards into the sky, powerfully strengthens the narrative of a sky-faring visitor from another world. Other figures, less distinct, have been similarly reinterpreted through an alien lens. Their unusual features seen as alien attributes rather than artistic stylizations. The alien theory, while undeniably compelling to some and a source of endless debate, largely rests on the premise that ancient humans were inherently incapable of such complex engineering, precise mathematics, and grand artistic endeavors on their own. It subtly, and perhaps unintentionally, diminishes the ingenuity, the observational skills, and the incredible communal effort that ancient civilizations demonstrably possessed and applied to their magnificent creations. As we explored in Chapter 3, the Nazca were a sophisticated culture, highly skilled in complex irrigation systems, exquisite polychrome pottery, and intricate textiles, indicating a deep understanding of their environment, materials, and societal organization. Their mastery of water management alone points to a level of engineering prowess that should not be underestimated. However, The enduring allure of the alien theory lies in its dramatic simplicity and its tantalizing ability to fill the vast void of the unknown with a grand, often fantastical, yet strangely satisfying explanation. It taps directly into our modern fascination with space, with the tantalizing possibility of extraterrestrial life, and with the idea of hidden truths deliberately concealed from us. It provides a seemingly straightforward answer, albeit a wildly speculative one, to the profound and persistent question of why these lines exist. For many, the idea of ancient astronauts descending from the heavens is far more exciting, more romantic, and more thrilling than theories involving intricate rain rituals, painstaking astronomical calendars, or the patient, back-breaking labor of a deeply spiritual people. It promises a secret history, a hidden connection to the cosmos that elevates humanity's past beyond mundane origins. This theory has been dramatically embraced and endlessly popularized by mass media and global popular culture. Television shows like Ancient Aliens have dedicated countless hours to exploring and promoting von Däniken's ideas, often presenting them as plausible alternatives to conventional archaeology. Documentaries, books, fictional works ranging from science fiction novels to video games, and countless online discussions have sensationalized the Nazca Lines as prime, undeniable evidence of alien visitation. This constant reinforcement across various forms of media has firmly cemented the idea in the minds of millions worldwide, transforming the Nazca Lines from a purely archaeological puzzle into a foundational staple of ufology, conspiracy theories, and ancient astronaut narratives. It continually fuels curiosity, draws new audiences to the site, both physically and virtually, and ensures that the mystery of Nazca remains alive in the public consciousness, even if the archaeological and scientific understanding of its true context might be limited. Despite its pervasive popularity, the vast majority of mainstream archaeologists, anthropologists, and scientists resoundingly dismiss the alien theory due to a fundamental lack of concrete, verifiable evidence. There are no alien artifacts found at the sites, no technological remnants that defy earthly explanation, and no verifiable historical records or consistent oral traditions that point to such claims. Instead, researchers rely on meticulous archaeological excavation, rigorous scientific analysis, comparative anthropological studies of ancient cultures, and a deep understanding of human capabilities to form their hypotheses. These scholarly approaches, as we've seen, consistently point towards more terrestrial, culturally relevant, and human-centric explanations for the line's creation. The techniques required to create the lines, while demanding immense collective effort and patience, were demonstrably within the capabilities of the Nazca people, using simple, known tools like ropes, wooden stakes, measuring cords, and keen observational skills to project smaller designs onto a larger scale. Maria Reich herself, the very person who mapped many of these lines, demonstrated how the Nazca could have created them without flight. Yet, as we drift effortlessly over these silent, colossal forms, even for a moment, it's easy to allow the mind to wander into these fantastical realms. Imagine shimmering lights descending from the inky blackness of the night sky, strange figures emerging with wisdom beyond our comprehension, communicating in ways unknown to us. The silent desert, already a place of profound mystery and stark beauty, transforms under this imaginative lens into an ancient landing ground, a cosmic message board, a silent testament to a forgotten encounter. This speculative thought, while not scientifically validated, is a powerful testament to the enduring, captivating enigma of the Nazca Lines themselves. They continue to spark our imaginations, pushing the boundaries of what we believe possible and inviting us to consider all explanations, however extraordinary, in the quietude of our minds. So, as you relax deeper into your peaceful state, let the notion of ancient visitors gently pass through your mind. Whether these magnificent lines were etched for human gods, for distant stars, or perhaps even for something from beyond our known world, their silence holds many stories. They invite us to contemplate the vastness of the universe, the boundless possibilities of the unknown, and the incredible, multifaceted capacity of the human mind to create, to believe, and to wonder. The alien theory, a modern mystery woven intricately into the ancient fabric of the Nazca Lines, reminds us that some puzzles are so grand, so compelling, that they continue to inspire our wildest dreams and expand our perception of reality. As we continue to float effortlessly above the vast, silent tapestry of the Nazca Desert, our minds have danced through various theories, attempting to illuminate the purpose of these colossal geoglyphs. We've considered them as messages to the heavens, as intricate cosmic calendars, as sacred pathways for profound rituals, and even as the intriguing remnants of extraterrestrial encounters. Each theory offers a compelling narrative, a potential key to unlocking the enigma. Yet, as the desert whispers its ancient secrets, a crucial, persistent silence remains, one that prevents any single theory from becoming the definitive answer. The Nazca people left behind no written records. Imagine for a moment the immense challenge this presents to our understanding. Think of other great ancient civilizations that have captivated humanity's imagination. The Egyptians, for instance, left behind their magnificent hieroglyphs carved into temple walls and papyrus scrolls, telling us stories of their pharaohs, their gods, their daily lives, and their profound beliefs about the afterlife. The Mayans of Mesoamerica developed a complex writing system, documenting their history, their astronomy, and their intricate mythology on stelae and codices. Even the Romans, with their vast empire, left an unparalleled wealth of written accounts, laws, letters, and literature. These cultures, through their written words, speak to us across millennia, offering direct insights into their worldview, their intentions, and the very meanings they ascribed to their monumental creations. We can read their voices, hear their stories in their own words, but with the Nazca, there is a fundamental, profound absence. They did not develop a system of writing, at least not one that has survived or been deciphered by modern scholars. They did not carve explanatory texts next to their immense figures or long lines. There are no scrolls, no tablets, no inscribed monuments to clarify their intentions. The desert floor, their grandest canvas, remains silent, holding its patterns, without any accompanying commentary from its creators. This silence is the most significant barrier to our complete understanding, for it means that every theory, every interpretation we construct, remains at its core an act of speculation about how. Then, do archaeologists and historians attempt to understand a people who left no written voice? They must become master detectives, piecing together fragments of information from the material culture left behind. They study the Nazca pottery with its vibrant colors and symbolic animal and human figures. These ceramics, as we explored earlier, provide glimpses into their cosmology, their rituals, and their daily life. They analyze the remnants of their textiles, noting the intricate patterns and the mastery of weaving techniques, which often carry deep symbolic meaning. They excavate burial sites, seeking clues from how the dead were interred, what objects accompanied them into the afterlife, and how their physical remains tell tales of their health, diet, and societal structure. They meticulously map and analyze their irrigation systems, the puquios, revealing their engineering prowess and their profound reliance on an understanding of water. From these tangible artifacts, scholars attempt to reconstruct the invisible, the beliefs, the social structures, the rituals, and the worldview of the Nazca people. They look for patterns, for recurring symbols, for connections between different aspects of their material culture. For instance, if certain animals appear frequently on pottery and as geoglyphs, it suggests a profound cultural significance. If their burial practices indicate a strong belief in an afterlife, it might lend credence to theories of offerings or communication with ancestral spirits. It is a painstaking process of inference, educated guesswork, and cross-cultural comparison. Yet, despite all this diligent work, the crucial piece of the puzzle, the Nazca people's own direct explanation of why they created the lines, remains tantalizingly out of reach. We can interpret the visual language of the geoglyphs, but we cannot read their precise meaning. Was the hummingbird a symbol of fertility, a rain deity, or a clan totem? Was the monkey a trickster spirit, a representation of a constellation, or a marker for a specific water source? Without their own words, these questions linger, keeping the mystery alive. And perhaps, in this profound absence of written words, lies a unique form of beauty. The Nazca Lines become a testament not to what we know, but to what we can imagine. They invite our minds to roam freely, unconstrained by rigid definitions. They become a blank slate upon which each generation, each curious mind, can project its own wonder and interpretation. It is a mystery that refuses to be fully contained, a puzzle that perpetually encourages new ways of seeing and thinking. As you drift deeper into your tranquil state, allow yourself to feel the gentle weight of this unwritten history. The desert holds these stories, not in words, but in the silent curves of a monkey's tail, the unwavering path of a straight line, the outstretched wings of a condor. These are stories told in sand, etched for eternity, speaking a language understood by the heart and the imagination. Even if the precise vocabulary remains lost to time, this lack of explicit explanation forces us to confront the profound impermanence of human knowledge and the enduring power of the unsaid. The Nazca chose a medium that defied time, but not interpretation. Their great work remains, a silent, monumental question mark on the face of the earth, continually asking us, what do you see? What do you hear in my quiet whisper? It is a powerful reminder that sometimes the most profound messages are those that are left unwritten, allowing us the timeless gift of wonder. So, rest now under the imagined sky of Peru, letting these silent, unwritten stories in the sand guide your dreams into a peaceful, curious slumber. The desert knows, and in its quiet knowing, we find our own peace. As we continue our slow, tranquil ascent, hovering above the timeless expanse of the Nazca Desert, our minds have journeyed through the theories surrounding these magnificent lines and the people who crafted them. We've marveled at their precision and pondered their purpose. Yet another profound question lingers, a whisper carried on the very air we imagine. How have these delicate etchings, made merely by removing surface stones, managed to survive for nearly 2 millennia in such remarkable condition? What role have the relentless forces of wind and time, usually agents of erosion and decay, played in their astonishing preservation? Imagine the sheer fragility of these works. They are not grand stone monuments like the pyramids, nor are they fortified structures built to withstand the ravages of ages. The Nazca Lines are, at their core, shallow trenches, typically only 10 to 30 centimeters, 4 to 12 inches deep, created by simply moving the reddish-brown surface pebbles to expose the lighter, yellowish subsoil beneath. It is a subtle difference in color, a mere contrast in shades of earth. In almost any other environment on Earth, such delicate features would have been erased by the elements within a few decades, certainly within centuries. Yet here they lie, a testament to an extraordinary interplay of natural conditions. U.S. delve into the remarkable characteristics of this unique desert environment that have conspired to protect the Nazca Lines. Firstly, and perhaps most crucially, is the extreme aridity of the region. The Nazca Plain is one of the driest places on Earth. As we discussed in Chapter 1, it receives an astonishingly low amount of rainfall, often less than an inch, 25 millimeters, per year. Many years pass with no measurable precipitation at All. This scarcity of water is the primary guardian of the lines. Without significant rain, there is virtually no water erosion, no flash floods to scour the lines away, no mudslides to bury them. The occasional rare drizzle is usually too light to cause substantial damage and evaporates quickly. This lack of water also means very little organic growth. No plants take root within the lines to disturb their delicate edges or cause them to crumble over time. The dry climate effectively sterilizes the ground, preventing the biological processes of decay that would occur in more humid regions. Secondly, consider the wind. While wind can be a powerful erosive force, constantly shifting sand and carving rock, the particular nature of the Nazca Desert's wind patterns, combined with the ground composition, has ironically contributed to their preservation. The prevailing winds are often light and stable, gently sweeping away loose dust and debris, but not strong enough to dislodge or heavier surface pebbles that form the darker borders of the lines. These pebbles, often coated with a dark, natural desert varnish, composed of iron and manganese oxides, absorb heat from the sun. This heat transfer prevents the accumulation of sand within the shallow trenches. The dark pebbles essentially create a stable, natural pavement that forms a protective layer, shielding the lighter soil beneath from wind erosion. The larger, heavier stones that define the edges of the lines also resist displacement by the wind, acting as natural barriers. Furthermore, the composition of the soil itself plays a vital role. The desert floor consists of a mixture of clay and gypsum. When any moisture does appear, from a rare light rain or morning mist, this fine-grained material absorbs it, then dries and hardens like cement under the intense sun. This process helps to compact the subsoil, creating a stable, durable surface that is resistant to the gentle buffetings of the wind. It's as if the very ground has a self-preserving mechanism, locking the lines into place with each cycle of minimal wetting and intense drying. Another subtle but significant factor is the absence of strong air currents that might otherwise stir up major dust storms. The Nazca Plateau is sheltered by surrounding mountains, which help to moderate extreme winds and prevent the formation of massive, line-erasing sand dunes found in other deserts. The sand that is present tends to be coarser and less mobile, less likely to accumulate and bury the geoglyphs. Instead, it seems to play a role in maintaining the contrast, with the occasional dusting being blown away, keeping the lines relatively clear. And then there's the element of time itself. 2,000 years is an incomprehensibly vast stretch for something so seemingly ephemeral to endure. Yet it is this very longevity, sustained by these specific environmental conditions, that elevates the Nazca Lines from mere ancient drawings to a profound natural wonder. Each passing century, rather than eroding them, has simply deepened their silence, enhanced their mystery, and underscored the unique confluence of human intention and natural preservation that allowed them to survive. The slow, unceasing march of time, combined with the desert's unique properties, has turned these temporary creations into permanent enigmas. Contemplating this, allow your mind to drift back to the ancient Nazca people. Did they possess an intuitive understanding of their environment's protective qualities? Did they know that their work, unlike painted murals or perishable textiles, might endure for millennia in this particular arid landscape? Perhaps they did, sensing the profound stillness and timelessness of their desert home. Or perhaps it was simply an extraordinary stroke of luck, a fortuitous alignment of human ambition and natural conditions that allowed their silent messages to transcend the ages. As you rest here, imagine the soft, imperceptible movements of air across the vast Nazca plain. Picture the ancient dust motes, gently dancing, rarely settling with enough force to obscure what lies beneath. Feel the warmth of the sun steadily baking the earth, preserving the contrast between dark and light. This continuous subtle interaction of elements is like a tireless, invisible hand sweeping clean and maintaining these ancient drawings. The lines are not merely surviving. They are being maintained by the very forces that elsewhere would destroy them. It's a powerful testament to the resilience of ancient human expression and the surprising power of nature to preserve. The Nazca Lines stand as a silent, enduring conversation between humanity and the environment, a grand collaboration of art and geology. They whisper of a time long past, kept alive by the silent work of the wind, the sun, and the extraordinary patience of the desert itself. And as you drift deeper into peaceful slumber, allow the quiet strength of these ancient lines, sustained by time and the elements, to bring a sense of profound calm to your own being. As our silent, imagined journey continues to unfurl above the ancient Nazca Plain, we've marveled at the enduring power of these geoglyphs, their silent survival against the relentless march of wind and time. We've traced their history, pondered their creators, and entertained various theories about their profound purpose. Yet, the story of the Nazca Lines is not just one of ancient mystery. It is also a vibrant, ongoing narrative of modern exploration and the relentless human pursuit of understanding. Even today, the desert continues to yield new secrets, revealed by the ingenuity of contemporary archaeologists and the marvels of cutting-edge technology. Imagine the dedicated men and women who follow in the footsteps of pioneers like Maria Reich, individuals drawn to this remote desert by the irresistible pull of the unknown. These modern explorers are not simply adventurers. They are highly trained archaeologists, anthropologists, and conservators, equipped with a deep respect for the past and an array of sophisticated tools. Their work is a delicate balance of careful excavation, meticulous mapping, and thoughtful interpretation, always striving to protect these fragile treasures for future generations. In the past few decades, the landscape of archaeological discovery has been utterly transformed by modern technology. Where once researchers relied on painstaking ground surveys and rudimentary aerial photography, they now employ tools that offer unprecedented precision and insight. One of the most revolutionary of these is the drone, or unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV. Picture a small, quiet craft soaring gracefully above the desert. Its high-resolution cameras capturing images from perspectives that would have been unimaginable just a few years ago. Drones can fly lower and more slowly than traditional aircraft, allowing for incredibly detailed photographic and video surveys. This allows archaeologists to quickly map vast areas, identify faint or previously unnoticed patterns, and create precise 3D models of the geoglyphs and the surrounding terrain. The impact of drone technology has been profound. It has dramatically accelerated the rate of discovery. No longer does a team need to spend weeks painstakingly walking grids under the scorching sun, hoping to spot a subtle change in ground texture. Now, they can cover hundreds of acres in a single flight, identifying potential new geoglyphs from the comfort of their research base. This efficiency has led to an explosion of new discoveries. In recent years, researchers, particularly from Japan's Yamagata University, in collaboration with Peruvian archaeologists, have announced the finding of hundreds of previously unknown geoglyphs. These often include smaller, more localized figures of humans, animals, and abstract patterns that were simply too faint or too small to be seen or recognized from earlier higher altitude surveys. Beyond drones, other advanced technologies are also contributing to our understanding. Satellite imagery provides even broader perspectives, allowing for the analysis of the Nazca Lines within their larger regional context. LIDAR, light detection and ranging technology, which uses laser pulses to create detailed topographic maps, can penetrate through slight surface vegetation or sand, revealing hidden features that might otherwise remain invisible. Imagine a laser beam gently sweeping the desert, creating a precise digital elevation model that highlights even the most subtle depressions and ridges, making previously unseen lines suddenly pop into view on a computer screen. This technology is incredibly powerful for identifying buried or heavily eroded geoglyphs. These new discoveries are not just about adding numbers to a list. Each new line, each newly identified figure, contributes a fresh piece to the grand puzzle. For instance, some of the recently discovered geoglyphs predated the main Nazca culture, possibly belonging to the earlier Paracas culture, around 800 BC to 100 BC. These older designs often feature different styles, such as figures with larger eyes or distinct motifs, suggesting an evolutionary timeline for the practice of geoglyph creation. This opens up entirely new avenues of research. Did the Nazca learn from previous cultures? Was there a continuous tradition of ground drawing, evolving over centuries? These questions deepen our understanding of the cultural context and the progression of this unique art form. The puzzle today, therefore, is not simply about finding more lines, but about contextualizing them. Archaeologists are working to understand how the new discoveries fit into the existing theories. Do they support the astronomical hypothesis, the ritualistic one, or do they suggest entirely new purposes? For example, some of the smaller, newly found geoglyphs appear to be located closer to ancient settlements or pathways, hinting at more localized, perhaps even domestic ritualistic uses rather than grand cosmic messages. Others might be found near water sources, reinforcing the theories about water cults and fertility rituals. Furthermore, modern explorers face significant challenges. The very act of discovery brings with it the immense responsibility of preservation. The Nazca Lines are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and protecting them from human encroachment, agricultural expansion, mining, and uncontrolled tourism is a constant battle. The faint lines are incredibly fragile and can be irreversibly damaged by a single misstep or the careless tread of a vehicle. Researchers must work with local communities and governments to develop sustainable tourism practices and effective conservation strategies. As you allow your mind to gently wander, picture these modern explorers. See them meticulously documenting, patiently analyzing, and thoughtfully interpreting. They are bridging the gap between an enigmatic past and our technological present, acting as diligent custodians of history. They embody the continuing human drive to understand, to decode the silent messages left by those who came before us. The Nazca Lines, therefore, remain a living mystery, a puzzle that is still actively being solved. Each new drone flight, each new LiDAR scan, each new archaeological excavation unearths not just physical lines, but also new questions, new theories, and new fragments of understanding. The desert, once silent for millennia, is now echoing with the hum of drones and the quiet murmur of researchers, all working to piece together the unwritten stories held within the sand. As you drift deeper into peaceful slumber, reflect on this ongoing dialogue between past and present. The ancient Nazca, with their simple tools and profound vision, etched their legacy into the earth. Now, modern explorers, with their advanced technology and insatiable curiosity, continue the conversation, ensuring that the whispers from the ancient sky will continue to captivate and inspire for generations to come. The puzzle continues to unfold, revealing more layers, inviting more wonder, and leading us gently towards the comforting embrace of sleep. Now, as our journey nears its gentle close, let us leave behind the theories, the debates, and the intricate details of discovery. Allow your mind to drift away from the active pursuit of understanding, and instead settle into a state of pure, serene contemplation. Imagine that you are no longer soaring high above the desert, observing from a distance. Instead, with a soft, almost imperceptible shift, you are now gently descending until you are lying down peacefully beneath the very lines themselves. Feel the subtle texture of the desert earth beneath you. It might be cool and smooth in some places, slightly rough with small pebbles in others. The air, though dry, carries a faint, clean scent, the scent of ancient dust, of minerals warmed by centuries of sun, a scent unique to this timeless place. Close your eyes gently, or simply soften your gaze, letting your eyelids become heavy, allowing your body to sink deeper into the comfort of your bed, as if you are truly nestled within the vast, quiet expanse of the Nazca Plain. As you lie there, let your senses open to the subtle symphony of the desert night. The profound silence is no longer an absence, but a presence. You might perceive the faintest whisper of the wind, a barely audible sigh as it glides over the contours of the land, perhaps carrying the distant echo of a nocturnal creature, or just the soft, rhythmic sound of your own peaceful breath. This is the sound of ancient stillness, unbroken for millennia, inviting you to share its quietude. Above you, the sky stretches infinitely. Without the lights of cities, the stars here would be an astonishing, dazzling spectacle. Imagine them beginning to twinkle into existence, one by one, then by the thousand, until the entire dome above is a shimmering tapestry of diamonds on black velvet. You can almost feel the gentle rotation of the earth, slowly revealing new constellations, new galaxies, all moving with a majestic, silent grace. This is the same sky that watched over the Nazca people, the same stars that perhaps guided their hands and inspired their colossal artwork. As you lie there, you are not simply on the ground, you are within the lines. Though you cannot see their full form from this vantage point, you can feel their presence. Perhaps your head rests gently within the curve of a giant hummingbird's wing, or your feet extend along the precise edge of a vast trapezoid. You might feel the subtle, almost imperceptible rise where the darker pebbles define the edge of a line, or the smooth depression where the lighter earth was cleared away. These aren't just abstract shapes anymore. They are part of the very ground that cradles you. Let your imagination conjure the ancient energy that might still linger in this place. Imagine the hands that meticulously cleared these stones, the feet that trod these paths in sacred procession, the eyes that gazed up at the same stars you now see. Feel a sense of profound connection, a bridge across 2,000 years, linking your peaceful present to their ancient, mysterious past. There is no need to understand their exact meaning now. Simply feel the presence, the enduring spirit of their magnificent creation. This is a place of deep, undisturbed peace. The worries of your own day, the demands of your world, seem distant, fading away into the vastness of the desert night. There is only this moment, you, the ancient earth, and the timeless sky. Allow the stillness of this landscape to enter your being, calming your thoughts, soothing your spirit. Let the silent stories whispered by the sand become a gentle lullaby, guiding you deeper into relaxation. Feel the profound sense of security that this ancient land offers. The lines, having stood for so long, seem to protect this space, holding it in a timeless embrace. You are safe here, enveloped by history, by mystery, and by the sheer, quiet resilience of the desert itself. The wind, which sculpted and preserved these lines, now feels like a soft, gentle breath against your skin, a whisper of peace. As your eyelids grow heavier and your breathing slows, allow yourself to merge with this ancient landscape. You are part of the story now, a silent observer, a gentle guardian of these unwritten tales. The Nazca Lines are not just images on a map. They are a feeling, a memory held by the earth itself. Let that feeling wash over you, a wave of profound tranquility. Drift deeper now, deeper into the comfort, deeper into the silence, deeper into the embrace of the ancient desert. The stars above shimmer, each one a tiny light in the vast cosmic tapestry, echoing the subtle lines below. You are part of this grand, unending mystery, dissolving into its quiet wonder. Let go. Let go of every thought, every sensation that keeps you awake. Embrace the weightlessness, the peace, the deep, abiding calm of sleeping beneath the lines. They are there, always silent and watchful. And so, too, can your dreams be. Sleep now, deeply and peacefully, held within the ancient, whispering embrace of the Nazca. As you rest here, cradled by the vastness of the imagined Nazca Desert, the silence deepens around you. We have journeyed through ancient whispers and modern theories, explored the hands that shaped these colossal figures, and marveled at the desert's timeless embrace. We've asked many questions. Who were they? Why did they create these lines? Were they for gods, for stars, or for something entirely different? And while each theory offers a fascinating glimpse, no single, definitive answer has fully emerged. And as you sink deeper into your tranquil state, perhaps it is time to consider a liberating thought. The precise meaning of the Nazca Lines may not matter as much as the feeling they evoke. Imagine a gentle wave of acceptance washing over you. For centuries, humanity has strived to decode every ancient symbol, to unravel every historical enigma, driven by a deep-seated need for answers, for certainty. We yearn to know the why, to uncover the exact purpose that motivated these incredible feats of creation. Yet, with the Nazca Lines, the very absence of a clear, written explanation, as we explored in Chapter 8, leaves us in a unique state of contemplative wonder. There is no instruction manual, no ancient tablet explicitly stating their function. And in this beautiful ambiguity, a different kind of understanding can emerge. Allow your mind to gently release the need for a singular, perfect answer. Instead, feel the profound sense of connection to the past that these lines offer. They are a tangible link to an ancient civilization, a people who lived, dreamed, and created in a world vastly different from our own. When you gaze upon the graceful curves of the hummingbird or the powerful sweep of a straight line, you are not merely looking at an archaeological artifact. You are experiencing a direct, visual dialogue with minds that existed 2 millennia ago. This connection, this feeling of timelessness, transcends specific interpretations. Consider the universal human impulse to create, to leave a mark, to express something profound that words cannot fully capture. Whether the Nazca Lines were a prayer for rain, a map of the cosmos, or a symbol of their deepest beliefs, they were undeniably an act of immense artistry and spiritual dedication. The act of their creation, the communal effort, the meticulous precision, speaks volumes about the people themselves. It tells us they were organized, intelligent, deeply spiritual, and possessed an enduring vision. This story, the story of human endeavor and aspiration, is perhaps more powerful and universally resonant than any specific function we might assign to the lines. As you drift now, let your mind become a vast, open desert, mirroring the landscape beneath you. Allow the gentle breeze of your breath to sweep away any lingering tension, any remaining questions that might stir your thoughts. The Nazca Lines exist. They are there. They have been there for an astonishing amount of time, witnessed by countless sunrises and sunsets, by generations of stars, by the silent passage of time itself. Their sheer existence is a marvel. Their resilience is a testament, and their enduring mystery is a gift. Perhaps the true purpose of the Nazca Lines for us is not to provide a definitive answer, but to inspire wonder, to remind us that the world holds depths we may never fully comprehend, to encourage us to look beyond the immediate, to consider the vastness of time and the incredible potential of human creativity, driven by motivations we might only dimly perceive. They invite us to contemplate the profound questions of human existence, faith, and our place in the cosmos, without demanding a ready-made solution. In their silence, the lines become a mirror, reflecting our own curiosity, our own desire for meaning, our own capacity for imagination. When you imagine them as runways for alien ships or as sacred paths for ancient rituals, you are not just interpreting the lines. You are engaging with them, bringing your own consciousness into their ancient embrace. The experience of wondering, of imagining, of connecting with the profound unknown is itself a valuable and enriching journey. So, as you sink deeper into the gentle folds of sleep, allow this sense of peaceful acceptance to envelop you. The Nazca Lines are there, majestic and enigmatic. Their secrets remain, unwritten in the sand. And perhaps that is precisely how they are meant to be. A constant, beautiful reminder that some of the most powerful stories are told not in words, but in the enduring whispers of the earth, inviting us to simply feel, to simply wonder, and to find peace in the quiet mystery. You are now drifting completely and utterly at peace, held by the ancient wisdom of the desert, beneath the watchful eyes of timeless stars and the silent, beautiful enigma of the Nazca Lines. Sleep deeply now, knowing that some mysteries are best left to the realm of dreams. As our journey through the enigmatic Nazca Lines gently draws to a close, you are now enveloped in a profound sense of peace. Your body feels heavy and relaxed, your mind calm and quiet. We have explored the silent expanse of the Peruvian desert, traced the outlines of colossal figures, and pondered the whispers of an ancient civilization. We have journeyed through theories of gods, stars, rituals, and even visitors from beyond. But most importantly, we have embraced the wonder of the unknown. Now, imagine yourself slowly, effortlessly lifting from the desert floor once more. Feel yourself gently rising higher and higher until you are once again soaring above the vast landscape. The individual lines and figures, which once seemed so close, now merge into the grand, sweeping panorama of the Nazca Plain below. The intricate hummingbirds, the mysterious monkeys, the precise straight lines, all form a silent, cosmic tapestry etched into the earth. As you drift higher, the world beneath you becomes a map of dreams, a testament to human ingenuity and enduring mystery. The cool, clean air of the upper atmosphere surrounds you, carrying away any lingering thoughts or worries. There is only the vastness of the sky above and the silent, whispering drawings below. Feel the gentle current carrying you, without effort, without destination, simply floating in the quiet expanse. The stars begin to appear, tiny pinpricks of light in the deepening blue, then growing in number until the entire sky is a brilliant, shimmering dome. Each star is a distant sun, a silent witness to millennia of Earth's history, including the ancient hands that carved these lines. Let your consciousness expand, becoming as vast and boundless as the desert night. You are part of this enduring mystery, connected to the ancient past, to the silent present, and to the endless possibilities of the future. The Nazca Lines continue their timeless vigil, their secrets held in the very dust of the earth, always inviting, always wondering. As you continue to drift, imagine these drawings are now speaking directly to your dreams, not in words, but in a language of peace, wonder, and profound stillness. They are a gentle lullaby, etched in the sand, singing you into the deepest, most restful slumber. Release any tension, any thoughts of your day. Allow your breathing to become slow, even, and deep. You are safe, you are held. You are drifting into a sleep as vast and peaceful as the desert sky. Close your eyes now, if they are not already. Let the last image be of yourself, floating serenely above the ancient world, gazing down at the whispering drawings. They are there, always. And in their silent, beautiful enigma, you find your perfect peace. Sleep now, deeply and profoundly. May your dreams be as boundless and as full of wonder as the unsolved secrets of the ancient sky. You are now drifting, completely and utterly at peace, held by the ancient wisdom of the desert, beneath the watchful eyes of timeless stars and the silent, beautiful enigma of the Nazca Lines. Sleep deeply now, knowing that some mysteries are best left to the realm of dreams.